What is this? This is not a fry. This is a showpiece, like the French. We have the Eiffel Tower and we're civilized, but our fucking streets are shit. This is the French street. Today and today only, we're doing a fry tier list because we have a lot of free time. Okay, so here are our fries. It is from Tiermaker, not my own, but props to the person who made it. We got S, we got A, we got B, we got C, we got D, and then we got F. Because if you're an F tier fry, you better know it. I don't see a bunch of like A. I don't see any F fries though. First things first, Belgian fries. Belgian fries on their own, they seem like a very crispy fry. A very crispy fry makes the texture and the flavor come out more than a standard fry, in my opinion. A Belgian fry, in my opinion, goes pretty hard. It's not the best fry, but it definitely adds to the meal as a palate refresher and as a good side. As a Belgian fry, I would have to say it's a solid Belgian fries are a solid B tier. On their own, I wouldn't have a Belgian fry. As a side, it does its job very well. Second fry, British chips. What's the difference? Is there a difference? British fries versus American. Well, I guess like chips, I should say. British chips. So they're a bit thicker, often fried twice. Ooh, interesting. For a variety of cuts, huh? Interesting. So going by Google AI, they do seem a bit thicker compared to our regular Belgian. Yeah, they seem a bit more of like a solid standby fry. It might be a controversial take, but I have to say, hey, stick with me now. Here's the deal why. There's a very good reason, and that reason is compared to the Belgian chip, the British has gotten to me. Ew, gross, ew. The British French fry looks like it would handle being its own meal. Look at this. I would enjoy a plate full of British French fries due to the fact that they're a bit thicker via image, and it looks like you would actually enjoy eating a plate full of those fries. Compared to the Belgian, I don't see myself devouring the whole bag on its own. If it was like compared with a meal, I would not just love just a standard Belgian fries. I don't see myself going out just to get Belgian fries. The British fries, on the other example, I would be more inclined, if that makes sense. Okay, it's not an A, it's definitely above Belgian. British fries do not deserve A, but they get a high B under more deliberation. All right, runner up, cheese fry. And by that image, it looks like just plain cheese on fries. Here's the deal. I personally don't like plain cheese on food. I would have to say D tier. Cheese and fries are good, but as a meal on its own, no. Yeah, it adds extra flavor, But the moment the cheese gets like kind of cold and then they combined all the fries together into one giant fry pile, it's not good. It's not good. And then you have cheese and fries together. It's a good combo. But as a meal and as enjoyment of the meal, you can't really divulge into the fries. Also, one point of view, BT dubs. With fries, especially cheese fries, and the next fries that we're going to be talking about, you can't eat it with your hands. A standard fry, you usually, grab your hand, dip it into something, and then eat it. With these ones in particular, you have to divulge with a fork of some kind. That deducts points right there. So I have to say, cheese fries on their own, by the way, as the picture has shown, it is just a Kraft single on fries. By that metric alone, it has to be D. Now here's where I become a hypocrite. Chili cheese fries. Chili cheese fries. You would f that up. Don't tell me you wouldn't either. Look at that specimen. My stomach just growled looking at that. That's how yummy that looks like right now. Here's the deal. With our cheese fries, what's keeping it warm is the fries themselves. But after a while, it cools down and the cheese gets hard again. That is deductible into negative territory, because now your fork is collecting more fry per bite ratio than usually. With the chili cheese fries, on the other hand, you got warm and hot chili on top of hot fries. The fries with the chili and the cheese will always keep that cheese nice and hot. Therefore, you would always have a good ratio of fry to chili to cheese ratio, because the cheese won't as harden as fast. Therefore, chili cheese fries are just fucking delicious. It is heavy on that A tier. Reasonably to say they're S tier. I'm debating giving you S or not. But the reason why chili cheese fries are not S tier, for a simple fact that this in itself is a meal. This is not a perfect side. A French fry, in my opinion, is a fry that can stand on its own, but also compare itself to the meal. With chili cheese fries, for one, you're paying a lot more for them. Two, you get heavier faster compared to having your actual first meal. That is not to say you can have chili cheese fries on their own as the main meal. But if you're going out to eat, you're probably not having the chili cheese fries. You're probably having a steak or a burger or something of that nature. But a chili cheese fries are a second meal. There's a lot more protein in it. There's a lot more cheese in it. There's a lot more food, which makes it a little more expensive and just a lot more of a hassle to eat as well. Because as fries, they're supposed to be hand food. This is fork food, so that's why it doesn't deserve S tier, but it's a solid A tier. This is capital A plus A tier, but not S tier. Cottage fries is our runner-up, and what the heck's a cottage fry? What is this? What are you? Homemade fries, gourmet fries, house fries, whatever. Just a potato or a type of baked potato dish made in a pan or a skillet. Fried, crunched, sliced, wedged, or diced potatoes that are the same unpeeled. Ooh. Interesting. So it's just diced tomatoes, not tomatoes, potatoes into a pan with some seasoning on top. Interesting. I need to see the cross section. Because that could change my opinion pretty fast. Because here's the deal. This is potato chip territory. If it's harder on the inside, I have to say C tier. But if it's like nice and warm on the inside, then it has potential to be B tier. But if the cross section is hard, like a chip, it's going C tier. Inside. Thank you, Google. You're fantastic. Oh, is that typical? It's so thick. Well, somewhat thick. Off looks alone, because it can be prepared pretty different. But the standard size looks pretty thin. Therefore, I would have to say C tier because of the shape, the size, and the potential variation of the hardness and the thickness of the cottage fries. I have to say C tier. But the reason why it's not D tier or even F tier is because of the amount of fry within the cottage cheese. I mean, the cottage fry. You have a good amount of fry. That's the only reason why it's C tier. It has a lot of potential variables that keep it from going up or down, but the amount of fry you're getting is pretty good. All right, our runner-up, crinkle fry. Some may call this controversial. Some may say I might be wrong. F2. Show me a man that had a good crinkle cut fry and I show you a liar. I have never had a good crinkle cut fry. It's usually very thick on the potato from the inside and no crispiness. It is soggy sometimes, it could be bad. Or sometimes it's so crispy that it's not even a fry anymore. It's like a stabbing dagger. There is no good ratio from middle fry from the crinkle cut outside that makes it enjoyable. Crinkle cut is F tier. It has a good texture for it though. But besides that, it is a shit fry. I have never had a good crinkle cut fry. Which just shows, you show me a man who likes crinkle cut and I show you a liar. That is biblical, I may add, in the fry Bible. That is the Judas of fries. This has killed the potato wedge. I'm just saying. I'm not saying it. They're saying it. Even though I just said it. I do not enjoy crinkle cut. Never have. Never will. It is too varied, and most places fuck up the crinkle cut. Now, the curly fry. Ooh, curly fries. So, the curly fry. The curly fry is the opposite of your typical Belgian or British standard fry. That is ever so clear. It's a bit darker, it has more spice to it, sometimes even spicier. Depends where you get it, it depends what kind you get. And it's a bit more show-offish, in my opinion. It makes its presence known with its shape, color, and pizzazz. What does this remind you of, in your opinion? Well, here's the thing. It reminds me of Sonic and Shadow. As we can understand, Sonic is a very one-note, very easy to see what his deal is. It's easy to understand, and we enjoy Sonic. But we love Shadow. Very different, very vibrant, he knows what he is, which is a badass with a bit of spice. That's why I have to say, wrong one, right one, curly fries, they're S tier. Curly fries are S tier for the obvious reasons. They taste good. With it's a good dipping to sauce ratio to fry ratio. It's good. You get a lot of fry. And if done very well, it's very good on the inside. And you can have them by themselves as well. That's why I have to say, crinkle fries are S tier for Shadow. Next up, garlic fries. I never thought I was gonna compare fries and Shadow the Hedgehog together, bro. Okay, whatever. Garlic fries. They look like your standard Belgium fries with garlic sauce. Okay, I'm a garlic slut. I love me a good garlic. Just garlic, period. But I have to say they're a bit C tier. Garlic fries are very good fries, but as a side, they can be a bit too much for some people. I love garlic, I love salt, but as a standard fry, it doesn't really do much, and usually it distracts you from your main meal. A good side fry enhances your meal. It's a bit playful. It just says, hi, I'm also a fry, but your burger's also good. The role of a fry is to be the liege, the bag carrier for your main meal. That's where garlic fries, they try to take over more. Which kind of reminds me of one thing. As we know, our standard Belgian fry, nicely salted, crispy on the edges, and a good meal overall. Very standard, very well. It reminds us of Sonic the Hedgehog. But our garlic fries, not as fantastical as our curly fries, but they have a certain pizzazz and panache that can sometimes outweigh the Belgian fry. But it does not have the reliability of a standard fry due to its garlicness, its unnatural tendencies. And what is unnatural, in my opinion? Metal Sonic. Metal Sonic is a robot. Where he tries to imitate Sonic the Hedgehog, but he never achieve the pride of Sonic the Hedgehog because it lacks a certain thing: reliability and taste. The garlic can enhance or decrease the power level of the fry. Therefore, garlic fries are Metal Sonic. Pum Snuffles? What are you? What is you? Alright, do I have a French dish? Oh, it's made by the French, of course. Not just because they're French. F tier. Yeah, F for French. So here's the deal. With these puff fries, what they're trying to do is just stupid. This looks like a fucking Tostino's pizza roll that is empty and a husk of a fry. What is this? This is not a fry. This is a showpiece, like the French. We have the Eiffel Tower and we're civilized, but our fucking streets are shit. This is the French street. It is trying to be so chauvinistic. Oh, because we're a puffed fry. We're fry, by the way. I guess it is fried, but it's not a fry. It is trying to do so much by just showing off that it's not doing what it's supposed to do, which is being a fry. This does not add to the meal. It actually subtracts, in my opinion. If I have this as a side for my burger, I would throw this at the chef. Why did you give me this waste of air? Like, no, deadass, this is a waste of air. Imagine being an air molecule, particle, whatever, and you're trapped within the pum snuffle. You would die as that air particle. Just saying. And if it does deflate over time, the chauvinistic nature of this fry is already gone. This is a waste of potato. Awful. F tier. Wait, no, hold on. Is going the potato waste is going into French tier. I feel humiliated for the French. Jesus. Disowned right there. You hate to see it. But this is where we bring things back. The potato tornado. The potato tornado. Okay. The potato tornado is a very interesting French fry. This is not a French fry. But the reason why this is better than whatever waste of air this is, the reason why it's better is because of the volume of potato you have in the potato tornado. It is skewered, put into a deep fryer, and then you have a corn on the cob, but it's a potato. It is a bit uncomfortable to eat, I have to say, and then when you're done with the middle, sometimes it falls off, which makes things even a worse process. It is not gonna be a good fry, but it's definitely a solid D. It's a good experience. It is a decent amount of potato, but it is not. This is not a fry. This is not a fry, but it is a good use of potato. There's not a lot to say about the potato tornado besides it is good. It is good, but it's not great, and it sure as shit isn't a curly fry. Therefore, I have to say it is a solid D tier. Potato wedges. Is our next fry. Whew, man. Wedges are tough. Literally and figuratively. The potato to fry ratio is very off. And if not dunked right, if not fried right, you have a very heavy potato that has been dipped in oil that you're eating. It gives the person who really loves potatoes a very good way to enjoy potatoes. And here's the thing. I enjoy potatoes. I don't love potatoes. And while having a meal and having a wedge, I don't know. I don't see myself picking up a wedge and enjoying my meal at the same time. The wedge and the main meal are battling against each other every time you have a wedge piece, because the wedge has a bunch of potato, and compared to your bite, it could be very varying of how much potato to main meal ratio you have in your mouth. Therefore, to the conflicting battle that happens in your mouth when you have a potato wedge, it goes to C tier. Next up is shoestring fries. Oh my. Oh me, oh my. So very, very thin fries that are dipped into the oil, and then you have to enjoy yourself from there. Very interesting fry. I had this a couple times before. I don't know. I don't enjoy it. Actually, I have a fantastic comparison. Here's the deal. With the shoestring fries, one thing can definitely say, it is a fry. Standardly speaking, it's a fry. It's a very, very thin fry, but a fry nevertheless. deal with shoestring fries, it's its thinness. It's not exactly a fry in which where you can pick up, dip, and enjoy. It's more or less like you have to like ham fist it, and then like it's like fucking it's like Big League Chew. Like you have to like grab all of it to enjoy it. Like you're not gonna be satiated with one shoestring fry. Like look at this. Like there's no shot you're picking up one fry and and enjoying it. That's why I have to say, shoestring fries are the Scrappy-Doo of fries. Here's the deal. Scrappy-Doo is trying to do what Scooby-Doo do, but worse. Scooby-Doo is our comic relief. It is our standard British fry. It does its job well. He makes things laugh. You enjoy his presence. You love Scooby-Doo. You don't enjoy Scrappy-Doo. He does too much everywhere. And like you can't enjoy Scrappy-Doo as you would Scooby-Doo, due to the fact that Scrappy is doing too much to imitate Scooby. That's why I have to say, shoestring fries, they're F tier. They're F tier. Due to the fact that you can't enjoy shoestring fries as a fry. They're fries with an S. So with these fries, you can enjoy by themselves. You can have a fry and have a good time. You can steal this off a friend's plate and be fine. With shoestrings, you have to grab their whole plate to enjoy it. That's why it's a solid F tier. It's an F tier fry. Man. If prepared right, the smile fry is what... Not you. The cottage fry is trying to do. The cottage fry, the smiley fry, is a good mix of cottage cheese fries. No, cottage fry. I'm thinking of cottage cheese, not cottage. Cottage fries and wedges. That is what the smiley is, in my opinion. If prepared right, they have a very crispy outside, like your standard cottage fry, but very potatoey on the inside as a wedge. If done right, the smiley fry becomes a good combination of what a fry is. That's if done right. I have never really seen a person make good smiley fries, due to the fact that they come usually in a package, pre-packaged, and then you have to find a way to make them. Smiley fries, as a fry, do a good job as a fry, as a side as well, and sometimes maybe even a main. But the caveat of a smiley fry is the apparent sogginess that always occurs with a smiley fry if done casually. If done casually, it's a very soggy fry, which deducts a lot of points. It is a very solid B tier, maybe even an A tier. Actually, I feel wrong putting it into B. It's an A. I am confident it being an A tier fry, but it's a very low A. Like it passed with an A, but it's like a 94, like a solid 92.35. It's still an A, but it has some more growing pains. But if done right, the smiley fry does its job fantastically. But due to the fact that people don't usually make it right, it gets deducted. But an A nevertheless. Moving on. Nothing more to be said, right? I mean, look at it. It's good. It's solid. does good, you, my friend, are a solid C tier fry. Usually not very salted, usually kind of bland, a bit too long sometimes. That's not actually a bad thing, but sometimes it can be. But a standard fry, it's not the best fry. And it's not a B for the simple fact that it's not very salted, sometimes it's very bland. Yeah, no, I'm confident putting it into it. It's the top tier echelon of C fry. Steak fry. Oh boy.
Red Robin.
Steak fries are a very interesting topic. The steak fries are what the wedges aren't. The wedges are trying to be crispy and doughy, or like potatoey in the inside. That's where steak fries excel. They stick to their one thing, and that thing is being a potato fry. It is usually skinned and then deep fried, but not to a very heavy crisp. They're still a bit flimmy, but in a good way. I'm speaking from experience from Red Robin. They serve steak fries, and their steak fries, in my opinion, are very good fries. Very potatoey, not too fried, and yet enjoyable. The steak fries, some people hate them, but I love them, and they're better than a potato wedge. For the solid purpose that a potato wedge it's trying to be crispy and potatoey at the same time, in which where your standard steak fry it's a fried potato, not a potato that's fried. I have to give it very low B tier. A low B tier. It outweighs the competition in C due to the ratio of the steak fry. It can sometimes outweigh the burger that you might potentially have with a steak fry. But as a side dish, as your side, the steak fry always comes in clutch. That's why I believe wholeheartedly that a steak fry is a low B, but it's a B nevertheless. Next up, sweet potato fries. Yeah, so we're definitely putting that in B, like D, right? Right? Like, here's the deal. Sweet potato fries, if you're on a diet, they're fantastic. Like, calorically speaking, these fries are pretty good, and their flavor is fantastic. But they're not exactly they're not your British French fry, or your Belgian, or God forbid, your standard fry. The sweet potato fry, it's a fry that has a community that loves it, but it's not the most well liked. That in itself is what brings the sweet potato down, but it's not an F tier. I have enjoyed a good amount of sweet potato fries, but there's a lot of good ways to make a sweet potato fry into a very bad fry. But a good sweet potato fry makes you understand why people love it. That's why it's a solid D tier. It just needs more time to grow. Our heavy hitters, our one and onlys, tater tots. What is there not to say about a tater tot? God damn, look at this thing. Humana, dude. Ooh, baby. Ooh, I'm getting kind of hot here. Ooh, damn. Yo, put those tater tots away. Damn. Rawr. There's a lot of things you can say about a tater tot. Reliable, tasty, crunchy, and potatoey is definitely one of them. Here's the deal with tater tots. If we're being transparent, it is a very hard, which is kind of funny, kind of hard thing to pick up. With your standard fries, you don't have to be afraid of picking up your standard fry. You don't have to be afraid of its fragility, of its potential cracking. its potential to fall off. The standard fry provides you security, stability, not flavor, but it gives you a chance to always enjoy it. That's where the tater tot lacks. A tater tot is kind of hard to pick up without like going too hard in it. You have to be very gentle with a tater tot. And if broken, kind of hard to enjoy because the crispiness is now not gone, but you don't enjoy the bite of a tater tot if it's a crushed tater tot. But a tater tot is still the highest of A tiers there has ever been. It is potentially S, but because of its fragility, its potential instability brings it down. It's not an S tier, but it's a heavy A tier. Waffle fries. Waffle fries. Waffle fry. Oh man. Waffle fry. What is the first thing that comes into your mind when you think waffle fry? Besides Chick-fil-A. I think struggle. I think complexity for the sake of flavor. It doesn't the shape and the complexity of the waffle fry, it does not sabotage the flavor of a fry. Such as this phony. This is all pizzazz and no show. This is pizzazz with a show. You have a lot of area to work with. You have a lot of good fry to dip ratio if you decide to dip, and a lot of spice usually. The waffle fry, it beats out a Smiley, less than a chili, but definitely the biggest A there has been. The waffle fry usually, when you bite into it, doesn't overwhelm your main meal. It's definitely a refresher side, but it's definitely a solid fry. This is my definitive ranking. The curly fries are S tier for the solid purpose that it does everything and more. The tots are good, but they're fragile. The chili fry, fantastic flavor, fantastic, it's just good. But the holding back, what's holding chili fries back is the price, the necessary utensil of a fork, and just that it's a bit more expensive than your standard fry. The waffle fry, fantastic fry. It does everything good. It does everything better than all of these fries, in my opinion. The Smiley fry, if done well, knows how to be a solid side, sometimes even a main, but if done wrong, very soggy. But if done right, and usually it is fantastic. The British chip and the Belgian and the steak, they're all fantastic in their own rights. They're the standard. These are the standards that I wish every place had. Good crispiness, solid amount of volume, and a solid flavor profile. These are my solid B's. The C tiers. The standard cut fry is never meh. It's very meh. Like, sometimes the seasoning's off, sometimes it's very weird, sometimes a bit bendy. Like, and not like a funny way, just like a very bad fry. Sometimes it's a good fry, sometimes it's a bad fry. That's why it's very unpredictable. That's why it's a solid C tier. The cottage fry, the volume to fry to potato ratio is very off. If done right, it's probably very good. But the problem I'm seeing is the amount of oil that is retained in the cottage fries, which could be a pretty big turnoff. So it's a bit hard to say. The garlic fries, I mean, they're good fries, but it could be very distracting to your main meal. Therefore, it has to be a C tier. Wedges, buddy, we love you here. I love you, but you're not invited. I'm sorry. The potato to fry to the volume ratio is always off if done wrong, which is usually wrong. Let me clarify. it's usually wrong. People who don't get the right ratio perfectly to make a good wedge, which is always disappointing. The sweet potato fry, as said before, it has its own community that loves it and appreciates it for what it is, which is a very sweet fry. It's a very good fry, but it's not a fantastic fry. That's why I believe it stays in D. Cheese and fries is just cheese and fries. If done wrong, it's a Kraft single on fries. It's not exactly the cinema of fries. And if you wait too long, the cheese sticks to the fries and makes things bad. Therefore, it's in D2. The potato tornado. A lot of flair and pizzazz and a good amount of just good flavor. But the way you have to eat it is kind of awful. And that's why it's in D2. If you eat it down the middle, the fry is just going to drop down to your plate. And now you have fry plate. That's bad. Crinkle cut. Crinkle cut is a fry, and that is always going to be it. It deserves an F tier for failure. Shoestring, as once said, it is too small to be considered an enjoyable fry. This is the only time where size matters. And then the French tier. What is there to say about the French? They're doing too much, but showing too little. You hate to see it. So thank you so much for coming by to my Fry 101 class. Thank you so much. I have a doctorate in fries. Soon gonna get my master's, even though I have my doctorate already. That didn't make any sense. Doesn't matter. Like always, this is all personal opinion, and I have the best opinion. I'm not saying it, they're saying it. Just saying. Humana, dude. Ooh, baby.